lights are on, they're about to go out and away they go, and it's Fincham versus Bell off the front row. Of course, Tom Bell, the lone stock catch from competitor there on that front row. So here be the leader in that. And it's Lee Deegan there with a massive sideways moment. He goes, and then Andrew Harding has a moment as well. Now Paul Jarvis, I should think, will go second in the stock catches. Yes, he does. Lee Deegan run out really wide there from that big sideways moment he had. Let's take a replay here. Before Pip Hammond, and they can see Andrew Harding come across the front of him. And Razor Hammond, Pip Hammond there managed to slow the car down and not hit into him. But it's Fincham that leads, Bell in second, but then the second plays battle with the stock catches there. It's Shane Deegan, I think, trying to come up alongside Paul Jarvis as they head now up across the line, but Jarvis held him off then, so it's Jarvis there in second of the stock catch, his third overall. Still, let's go forward with Paul Jarvis for the first time in this race, and he follows Rob Drake. We head down towards the S's. This battle for second in stock catch, and Rob Drake flings the car into the S's. The car completely sideways. This is given now Paul Jarvis a better run as they head down to the hairpin. He's going round the outside here, and in front they're always side by side as well between Matt Fincham and Tom Bell. Tom Bell doing a great job to go with a Clio, and more so, that's a massive gap to the stock catch contenders. So it's Drake stays in front of Jarvis, and I think that's that Lee Deegan coming round the outside of it. It's Shane, we'll have to check that when they come back down towards Gerard. So it's side by side, and for the lead as well, because Tom Bell trying to come round the outside of Matt Fincham, who locks it up, but he managed to hold that all together, and one of the Deegans has got ahead of Paul Jarvis. And it's Shane as we head down towards the S's, and Paul Jarvis laid on the brakes. He gets the car sideways, as does Shane Deegan in front of him. He managed to hold it up, and Lee Deegan comes across the front of Paul Jarvis' car. Paul Jarvis goes ticks to the grass there. Bit of a half spin for Paul Jarvis. He'll be dropping right back down the pack. So, all 20 cars still running. And Barnes, a great run of Patrick Fletcher. Slow it down a bit for the traffic there. James Hayden being lapped, and that's allowed Barden to gain another position. 2 places gained in 2 laps. A great run of laps thanks to been Barden, so that puts him up a place. He's up to 7th overall, 6th in the stock. But it's Harry Campy on the attack. He dives to the inside of Andrew Harding. Harding tries to hold him off here. Hopefully he won't run out too wide. No, he stays on the track, but Harry Campy's still challenging him as they go down towards the short hairpin. He looks now up on the inside, brakes late on the inside line. They surely have put him ahead of Andrew Harding. Indeed it does. The 39 car then gains a place, but it's Matt Fincham to win, but flashing his lights behind him. It's Tom Bell that wins the first round of the Stock Catch Championship. And they're on the lights go out, and the Clio of Matt Fincham makes a better start. So hopefully he'll let the stock catches race behind him. The new Clio 182 car that should take the lead to Gerald. So it's Tom Bell in second, it's a Deegan in third, fourth, a poor start from Rob Drake. With the second row, he's dropped well back, a bit of contact between Matt Ellis and Nathan Saunders. Car gets all sideways. Nick Vaughan-Jones slammed on the brakes to make sure he didn't head into him, and Patrick Fletcher's gone well off the circuit. He's on the grass. It's a bit muddy out there now. And Pip Hammond has Jake Farndon around the outside of him then. I think that's Pip Hammond, is it, trying to gain a place on board. We can go with him, and there's Jake Farndon in front. We turn through Gerrard's. Hammond being attacked by Farndon. So Farndon gains the place. Hammond with Paul Jarvis behind him in defence. He decides to go back to the racing line for the exit. You can see in the rearview mirror, Paul Jarvis up on the inside, but he can't get the position done. Pip Hammond round the outside, stays in front of Jarvis. That's allowed Jake Farndon to get away then. And they're side by side. Armstrong and Harding then down to the exit. Right on the steep bound. Behind as well, Harry Campbell in the defence. Matt Ellis going on long speed through. Yes, he's got in front. Bit of a mistake for Harding, but that wide. That's a good give. It's come off to the place, and might come through as well. Powell trying to squeeze from that gap as well as Harry Campbell with the inside of Matt Ellis behind. Lots of side by side action into the hairpin. Harding gets it, push that wide. He comes across Powell with a bit of contact there between the 2 cars. They head into the elbow then. That completes another lap for Drake. Straight away on the attack of Jake Farndon out the corner. He's up alongside already as they head down up across the line then underneath the Jordan Bridge into Gerrard as they go, and around the outside goes Drake, but Jake Farndon, Drake's really late. He's up on the inside and stays in front of Drake, and Drake gets the car all out of control as he heads through Gerrard. He's heading towards the grass, and Pip Hammond can get that position back then. Let's take a replay of that. So it was Drake going around the outside of Farndon. Farndon braked really late to stay in front of Drake. That unsettled his car, Drake's car. He was sliding all over the place and ended up on the grass, sliding out wide towards the snow here at Mullery Park. Very cold day, and Drake did get it back on, but much further down the pack. Forward with Pip Hammond, and the car's slow, and the car's all not right, is it? Because the car's all out of control through the exit. He slows the car down, pulls the car off. So it looks like a retirement in the second round. The CB 4 pit pound. He was going really well until that problem struck. Now Rob Drake back on the attack of Steve Powson. He comes up across the front of him. There's contact between the two cars, and as Drake's car went backwards across the track, he almost collected Steve Powson's car, and Powson to have control as well in that. The checkered flag ready then for Matt Fincham, but more important behind him is Tom Bell. He gets 2 out of 2 here in the stock catches. You can see how much he's pulled out in the second half of this race then. Who's going to come across second? Well, of course it's Shane Deegan, and Lee Deegan then third. Good podium from him. Both Deegans on the podium here today. The front row we have Tom Bell and Lee Deegan. Second row Jake Farndon and Andrew Tibbs, and away we go. It's a great start from the second row cars. Jake Farndon and Andrew Tibbs make a stunning start. And from third row that's Shane Deegan, and alongside him was Nathan Saunders. Shane Deegan from the fourth row. It's a great start from him, but it's Lee Deegan that gets it all crossed up as well at the top of the hill. Cole Swan gets it crossed up. They both rejoin, both having a bit of a moment. They're up into the hairpin they go. Then it's side by side for the lead between Bell and Tibbs. Andrew Tibbs there from the second row of the grid. So they come down the hill then into Graham Hill Bend, and I think Tibbs got it. Tibbs has got ahead of Bell. Good stuff from him then as Nick Fulton-Jones runs all over the grass, and Clio's coming from the back. Matt Fincham and Martin Ward, watch out for them because they're faster cars. But it's a stock catch, it's a Wincott Jacobs and jump hit for them, and Bell's got the lead back from Tibbs. They keep changing positions here for the lead. So Tibbs has got the lead back. In seconds Tom Bell, third Farndon, fourth Shane Deegan, fifth Lee Deegan, sixth is Philip Wright. He's going great guns this weekend. And here comes Jake Farndon. He's on the inside of the championship leader Tom Bell, who of course carrying 40 kilos of ballast for the 2 wins he had at Mummery Park. Farndon the inside, Tom Bell powers round the outside, so they head into Paddock Hill, headed round the outside, but it's Farndon who breaks later. He has that right line, the inside line, so he now goes second behind Andrew Tibbs. So here they come then, lead is absolutely together, and now Farndon looking to the inside of Andrew Tibbs as they head into Clearways. He's found a car whip on the inside. There's right Jake Farndon, now the ex-genetic junior racer from a few seasons ago. He goes to the front, so Farndon leads. Down to second's gone Andrew Tibbs. Now can Tom Bell find a way through in this? No, Tibbs is going to attack back from the lead. It's going round the outside of Jake Farndon as they head into Paddock Hill Bend. He's nosing in front, but Farndon on the inside breaks that bit later, and he manages to reclaim the lead. Now can Tom Bell capitalise on this? No, Tibbs gets back in line. He's there in second, and third Bell, fourth is Lee Deegan, fifth is Shane. Lee Deegan into the back almost, and Tom Bell, they are nose to tail. Lee Deegan couldn't be any closer to the back of Tom Bell's car there. Jake Farndon's going to take his first win of the 2013 season. He was a front runner last year. He looked like he's going to be another championship competitor this year. There's lots of them that could win it. He's going to come up to take the victory. Second overall, it's side by side. I think Matt Fincham just snuck ahead of Andrew Tibbs, but Tibbs gets second to stock catches. Third to Bell, fourth to Lee Deegan, fifth to Shane Deegan, sixth a fantastic run by Philip Wright. He's really improved since the last round, and even more so from last year. It's round 5 of stock catch here, and we can ride on board with Lee Deegan for the start. Here at Snefton, we're on the third row of the grid. Phil Wright on pole. It's a great start from the inside there from Shane Deegan of the third row. Lee's going to try and follow through the middle of the second row here. Andrew Tibbs and Jake Farndon, the Deegans making their way through. It's Nathan Saunders that's going to lead into Rich. He's a big leader, him. Not the greatest start from Phil Wright. Second's going to go Shane Deegan, is it? Well, Phil Wright trying to battle with him. He's on the inside as they head down towards Montreal Hairpin, and he breaks late. Now, where are we going to go? We're on board with Lee, of course. Shane Deegan. Oh, and Phil Wright almost made contact into Chapman Curve forcing. Shane Deegan all over the dirt. That means the two guys are really slow off the corner. Lee Deegan almost into the back of his brother there. He carried so much more speed and just gone into the distance as Nathan Saunders. What a great first few corners for him. And side by side, you can see Lee looking over at his brother Shane there. They can see Shane Deegan coming back then. Lee Deegan just looking down there at the gear stick by the looks of things. Perhaps not the greatest gear change for him, and that's why Shane managed to come back. But it's the inside for Lee. He's going to get second through Brundle, then down another gear as they turn into Nelson, clatter over the curves. It's a battle on the third because it's side by side between Phil Wright, Shane Deegan on the outside there. The car's sideways, a bit of contact possibly, but Shane Deegan's gone through. He's in third, fourth is Wright there. You can see Rob Drake went out very wide. We're on board with Steve Powson. Drake just about stayed on the tarmac there. He's under pressure from Patrick Fletcher. Fletcher on the inside then. Go down to the hairpin. He can't find a blatant. Oh, we almost run into the back. There. Now, who was that? Possibly Tom Bell. It must have been Tom Bell there. So Bell and Drake side by side down the back straight. Well, I said put on board with Steve Powell. Patrick Fletcher's done well there to gain a place or two since he crossed the line. But here comes Tom Bell. He's on the inside, they go onto the bridge. The outside for Drake. Fletcher defending the line. We've got Nick Fortin-Jones up on the inside of us. And Patrick Fletcher gets a car all sideways through Brundle. Has to go to the grass there. He wasn't going to make Nelson. The car got all sideways, but no harm done there. Now just watch the steering wheel here and the hands of Lee Deegan. You see how many times they have to change directions every corner, then mix sideways onto the brakes they go into Murray's. Fantastic shots here on board of Lee Deegan, and off goes Saunders, off goes Deegan, both the leaders there all over the dirt out of Murray's. Into Riches, Saunders still leads, being followed by Lee Deegan. Deegan perhaps takes a bit of a tighter line, and Saunders off the road. Nathan Saunders all over the dirt. He tries to come back on. He doesn't defend too heavily because up on the inside is Lee Deegan. Is he going to get the lead back? Saunders carries a lot of speed through the corner. It gets all crossed up in the middle of the corner. That runs out wide. Lee Deegan takes the lead then. For third row of the grid, look go. And Shane's come through. He takes the lead then. Out through Chapman onto the straight. They're side by side almost, the two Deegans. Yes, look, Lee coming back at Shane now, and he now edging, nosing in front as they go down towards Brundle. So Lee Deegan gets the lead back. He wasn't in the lead momentarily there. Fantastic stuff here. The two brothers then, first and second now. Lee leads Shane. Lee Deegan is about to take his first official win in the Stockcats Championship, and Shane's dropped right back off him now. I'm not sure what happened down there at the Essex. Martin Ward right behind him. That doesn't matter though, because second's going to go to Shane Deegan. So first 1-2 for the Deegans of the season. Up across the line, we can see on the inset on the left hand side, the on-course camera, Lee Deegan. And he's going to celebrate victory. There you go. Fantastic stuff from Lee Deegan. He wins. Second will go to Shane Deegan. The second Stockcats race at Snetterton about to get underway. It's round 6 of the championship. The red lights go on. They go out. We're on board with Steve Powell for the start then. He's our on-board camera car for this race. And the race away. They head down to Ritchie's for the first time. Powell started on the inside of row 5. It's the two Deegans on the front row. That's poor start. That's from Andrew Tibbs there. Everyone bunching up. Has Saunders, the race one pole sitter, the front row sitter even, and this car's bouncing all over the place here in Ritchie's. He's on the inside of Andrew Tibbs now. We'll see if we can work out who's leading. I think it's a Deegan. Undivided. Look at the number 76 car of Mark Armstrong. He's like 12. He went right round the outside of everybody there. Slots in, there's Tibbs in front of us, behind Nick Fortin-Jones. Side by side further up now between Drake and look, Andrew Tibbs is slowing down the straight. I think a problem possibly for Andrew Tibbs because he's lost a lot of places. So, look at this, Lee Deegan fighting the car, and it's a change of second, and Shane Deegan gets it there sideways off a corn. He looks up, he's off the track. Shane Deegan on the grass then, so Tom Bell back up into second. Shane Deegan takes similar line to what Matt Neal did in the British Touring Car Championship last year after contact with Jason Plato, but Shane Deegan should rejoin in fourth. We're getting, and they come up on time screen. It's first then Lee Deegan, second Tom Bell, third Rob Drake, in fourth position Shane Deegan, fifth Jake Farndon, and sixth is Paul Jarvis. Heading down the centre straight, it's Fortin-Jones on the inside, it's youngster Harry Campy on the outside. Fortin-Jones is going to have the better of him. So, and somebody's left a whole load of dust on the exit of Riches, where they've run out wide. And somebody else look at, oh dear, Paul Jarvis that looked like running out wide, or had perhaps a spin because he's dropped back a bit, hasn't he, Paul Jarvis? We've just got ahead of Harry Campy there. Drake's gone ahead of Lee Deegan. Rob Drake leads the stock catches now then. So heading to the, and he's gone wide. He's on the grass. Rob Drake off the circuit then, and here come the Deegans. They're going to fight their way back through. So Lee Deegan leads once again. Trevor Gregory's going to take the overall victory. He's got a massive lead. Martin Ward second, but in the stock catches Shane Deegan now into the lead. So a change between the two Deegans on the last lap. So Shane leads Lee now. So another 1-2 from the Deegans. What a fantastic weekend at Snetterton this is going to be for them. Third is Tom Bell. Fourth, Jake Farndon. Now fifth for Nathan Saunders. He's been under attack from Rob Drake, who's lost some positions. He's sixth. We're on board with Scott Sharp then for the first race here of the weekend for Stockcats around the Silverstone International Track. We go racing there. It's quite a good start for Scott Sharp, and from the car in front, that's Steve Powell who's rocketed off the line. He's gained at least one row already. Paul Jarvis not the best start. We work his back past here as well as Steve Powell continues going right around the outside. That's Nathan Saunders who's made an awful start from the front row of the grid. He must be down about 6th or 7th. He might have very wide far corner. So you can head on to the brakes. Heavy braking zone here in the village, and it's sideways by side for the lead between Tom Bell and Shane Deegan's trying to get the better of him. They're side by side as Lee Deegan gets squeezed off the circuit there by Patrick Fletcher, and here comes Steve Bowden getting past them all as they head through the link. Here Nathan Saunders back on the inside. He uses the grass as well in there. Lee Deegan now side by side with Scott Sharp. He's falling down, but who is leading? Because the side by side between Shane Deegan and Tom Bell. Tom Bell leads the championship into this weekend, and Nathan Saunders now looking on the inside of Steve Bowden, but it is Bell that leads. In seconds, Deegan. Third, Patrick Fletcher, and Nathan Saunders and Steve Bowden going side by side there as well. Paul Jarvis and Lee Deegan. There's contact between the two of them. Lee Deegan bouncing over the grass and over the curb in there. He's going to drop right to the back of the pack after that contact there with Paul Jarvis. The top two though, they're getting away, Tom Bell and Shane Deegan. Two of the 6 grass track racers, and here Nathan Saunders is another of the next grass track racer, but here comes Patrick Fletcher trying to get back ahead of him. The two cars make contact, they go through the battle, and that's going to allow Steve Bowden to perhaps get third position. Yes, that's the highest he's been for a long time in Stock Catch. Scott Sharp also, he's going through the field with Steve Bowden. He's right behind him there, and now the Clio's making their way through the pack. Side by side as Saunders goes around the outside of Steve Bowden. He comes back across there. Bit of contact between the two cars. More rubbing going on here at Silverstone in Stock Catch. Steve Bowden trying to fight back around the outside into the Vale. Can't do anything about it. That's going to have Paul Jarvis, Scott Sharp, Bill Wright, and Trevor Gregory in there as well. Side by side here is Paul Jarvis up on the inside. Ooh, Bowden brakes a bit late perhaps than he wanted to. He stayed in front of Scott Sharp, but Paul Jarvis does find a way past. Originally the light Jarvis is going to go through, then went the Bowden a bit, but then he outbraked himself. They're absolutely nose to toe. Saunders drifts out as the car slides. Paul Jarvis now up alongside the two cars absolutely side by side. Made contact there, round goes Nathan Saunders, almost back into the path of Paul Jarvis. That's allowed Steve Bowden up into third position. Since he returned to Stock Catch in 2011, Bowden had not been on the podium. This is his best chance, he's up to third. But let's have a look at what happened here. Paul Jarvis up alongside, the two of them hitting door mirrors, hitting panels, and then eventually with Paul Jarvis' car slightly out of control, tapped Nathan Saunders into that spin. So up to third for Steve Bowden, that's allowed. You can see there the two cars making contact down towards the Vale, and when Paul Jarvis' car hit the grass there, the car went to the inside, which then tapped Nathan Saunders into that spin. Mark Armstrong's going to win the race overall, but more importantly, Tom Bell is going to extend his lead in the Stock Catch Championship. Shane Deegan going to move his way up to second after his brother's poor race after the contact earlier on. It's been a really good, impressive drive from Lee Deegan to work his way back through. Steve Bowden's going to get his first podium since his return to Stock Catch, here finishing third. In fourth, that'll be the car of Paul Jarvis. In fifth will be Scott Sharp. Yes, he's just about to hold on to his position ahead of Phil Wright. And Nathan Saunders in the seventh after his spin. The second Stock Catch race from Silverstone is go. They were on board of Lee Deegan, and it's damp out there. More rain forecast for later in the race, and it's Tom Bell who's going to try and get the advantage, but Nathan Saunders on that outside line can carry more speed. They're side by side then. Saunders versus Bell. Tom Bell, multiple race winner this season. He leads the championship by a good margin. They head into village side by side then, and then rub slightly there, which allowed Bell to take the lead. Saunders now has to defend from Lee Deegan, who's on the inside line as they bounce over that brow in the traffic. But here, contact, that's, I think, just moved Lee Deegan's wing mirror. Down to fourth position now for Nathan Saunders. Onto the brakes, then into the left-hander at Vale. I thought Tom Bell was, it's contact there. Shane Deegan massively sideways. What I was going to say though, Tom Bell, I thought he was really up the brakes. He'd outbraked himself, and Lee Deegan now leads, so it's a change up front. He slides his way through farm, and up on the inside goes Tom Bell. The TBR Racing car's going to try and take the lead here into village, and I think he's got it done. Yes, he has he? Yes, into the lead then. Once again goes the championship leader Tom Bell. Into go. Lee Deegan trying to fight back then. He looks to the inside of Tom Bell. Can't do anything. Now can't come around the outside. Again, he can't do anything. Tom Bell, the car slides in the middle of the corner. He runs that wide. Lee Deegan has the tied to line, so he's come around the outside, heading down towards the Vale. You can see the impressive Silverstone wing there as they head down into Vale. Tom Bell just about cuts across Lee Deegan to stay into the lead then. So they go through Club Corner then. Paul Jarvis running out wide, up to fifth, then goes Phil Wright. Both of them run out wide. It's getting slippery now as the rain starts to fall. The Clio there of Mark Armstrong takes the lead, but Tom Bell, he's going to fight him right round the outside. Goes Bell at Stowe Corner, going to get his one done, but it looked like it was easy going for Mark Armstrong down the straight to take the lead. But Tom Bell, he's going to fight him for it because he knows the cushion, the Clio really is handy. But Armstrong had it done into the Vale, or does he? Tom Bell fights back up in the inside line. Armstrong again trying to come back at him through Club Corner. Lee Deegan just watching this to see how it all pans out. Well, Tom Bell has done perhaps what he wanted there. He's got a car whip now, a Clio in the middle between him and Lee Deegan. So now Armstrong pulls out, using the 2-litre engine of the 102 there to get the lead back then. But now he's going to be in the way of Tom Bell. He can't carry the speed he usually does through the corner, so Lee Deegan can. So in the end, perhaps it didn't work out for Tom Bell. Round the outside at bottom corner comes Lee Deegan. That gives him the inside line then as they head into Village. So rain continues to fall here at Silverstone. Into the lead once again goes Lee Deegan. So he leads, they head down, but here comes back on the inside Tom Bell. He's not going to wait long, but Lee Deegan goes on the speed around the outside. They're side by side. Deegan carries a speed out the corner. They're side by side. This is fantastic racing from stock. Actually, Tom Bell puts his bum up down the straight as they come to Lee Deegan. So the two of them looking over at each other. So they turn up with the right-hander at Stowe Corner. Deegan carried the speed around the outside. But has Bell got that now? I think he has. He looks over once again. Checks the mirror. Is he in front? I think he is. Tom Bell gets the lead back. So he runs a bit wide out of bounds. That was a tighter line for the first part of Club. Into Abbey. Tom Bell flings a car from the car, gets it really sideways to the edge of the corner. He just about saves it. He's still sideways as they head through Farm Corner. So this is going to give Lee Deegan the momentum round the outside. He's going to try as they head through Village. But Bell stays in front, drifts up wide again, but I think he's got it. He stayed in front. Fantastic racing continuing here. Through Club then, Tom Bell will take yet another victory in the 2013 750 Motorcar Stock Cats Championship. Lee Deegan takes second. And Shane Deegan, problems with the car, stone through the radiator. We managed to come home and finish in fourth behind Nathan Saunders. Pole man, Jake Farndon's not there, so Tom Bell on the front row by himself. Row 2 is Patrick Fletcher and Shane Deegan. Row 3, Lee Deegan and Andrew Tibbs. The race is underway. We're on board with Paul Jarvis, who started late, but there's a poor start there from Andrew Tibbs. He's headed down the field. It's Nathan Saunders there in the 81 car. He was alongside Jarvis. He's made a good start. So Scott Sharp is up on the inside as they go on to the brakes into Redgate. Through the rearview camera there, I noticed that Andrew Tibbs was really late on the brakes. He's got round the corner though, so the leader's headed down Hollywood and onto the Craner curve for the first time. With a 10-second delay, the Clio 182 series cars underway as well, but it's Tom Bell that leads. Shane Deegan in second place. Deegan won the race yesterday. Tom Bell really pushing hard side by side between Phil Wright and Andrew Tibbs further back. There's Deegan, he's that's ahead of Fletcher. There's Andrew Tibbs off the circuit now, so Steve Powsland is going to try and go around the outside of him here. The Clio, it's Matt Fincham leads the way. He is ahead of Martin Ward. Tom Bell can win the championship in this race. He's got to finish something like in the top 10. So as long as Tom Bell stays out of trouble, he should be champion by the end of this race. Nathan Saunders bounces over the curve. The Coffee's corner 2. Deegan's a side by side as well. Patrick Fletcher's got ahead of Shane Deegan. Leading and trying to find his way past Shane as well. Nathan Saunders getting himself in that as well as they head down towards the chicane for the first time in this 13-minute first one lap race. Paul Jarvis looks to the inside. It's late on the brakes for Nathan Saunders. He tries to attack Shane Deegan. He can't do anything about that. Tom Bell then leads as they come out the chicane, but the first time there's a bit of a lead from Bell. And now Andrew Tibbs is going to be trying to come through as they come into Coffee's corner. He's got the inside line.
And through goes the 28 car, but Powell's now cutting back. Pip Hammond was trying to squeeze his way up on the inside as well. They're unable to do anything about him though. So Tim's just ahead, but Powell's coming back at him now. He's on the inside line, left down to chicane. The Summit Woods car, they're getting involved as well as they all now come onto the brakes into the chicane. It's so the second part, Tim's has got the inside of Powell's, and there's contact between the two cars. Powell's on the grass, more contact between the two of them. Wheel contact there, just flicked and Powell's car up in the air ever so slightly, so there goes through the two black cars. Simon Wood the first one, and then Pip Hammond the second of them. And under the brakes of Redgate corner, and Powell biking back up on the inside of Pip Hammond. Terry Roughton behind the pair of them. They'll be side by side as they head out of Redgate. Meanwhile, we've had a change because Shane Deegan has fallen behind Nathan Saunders. And Deegan's on the grass. He's sideways with the old hairpin. He's running out wide here. All over the grass. He was completely sideways into the corner. I think he hit the grass there. Top two. It's Patrick Fletcher back into the lead. But now it's 5 in the lead. But look at Tom Bell. He's 5 back on the exit of the corner. Nathan Saunders as well. Right with them. It could be any of the three of them as leading as they go down the Redgate corner this time. Saunders is going for the outside. Tom Bell's got it done. And Saunders has gone past Patrick Fletcher. So Fletcher down to third. He was leading as a chicane and now complete Deegan. He squeezes his way up on the inside. Good move there from Lee. Just saw Saxo quickly went for it. And now Paul Jarvis finding his way faster from there. Past Patrick Fletcher as well. And he should be able to get that done onto Hollywood. He does. So Patrick Fletcher, who is at the front of that clip's now at the back of it. And Shane Deegan's going to join them in, even though having that gravel trap excursion a few laps ago. So it's Bell that leads, Saunders second, third Deegan, fourth Jarvis. Lee Deegan gets it extremely sideways with the old hairpin. He's losing out now because of that. So both Jarvis and Fletcher go through, the two Deegans together once again. Here's a replay from Paul Jarvis, a massive from Lee Deegan. How fantastic was that? He held it though, he lost 2 positions. But a bit too sideways on the end autocross racer. Right now, what happened up towards McLean? Well, Patrick Fletcher, he squeezed back up on the inside. So he went from first to fifth, back up to third. Now this was a lap ago. Scott Sharp had a wide moment on the exit of the old hairpin. He went grass tracking. But back to the action because Paul Jarvis back on the inside of Patrick Fletcher. He's back through. He's up into third position. So Fletcher within the lap has gone from first to fifth to third, back down to fourth again. But he's not done that. He's right behind, trying to find a way past Paul Jarvis. Is he pushing him now? Down the straight follow from Paul Jarvis. The pair of them have got to try and catch the top two. But instead, it's one of the Deegans. Is it Lee? No, it's Shane. It's 58. It's Shane Deegan goes down the outside of Patrick Fletcher. Can't get it done. Runs out road to the grass. Martin Ward just behind him in the best of the Clio. That's Lee Deegan right behind him. So Tom Powell leads. He's looking good for the championship still. Nathan Saunders second. And now Shane Deegan has got past Patrick Fletcher, and Paul Jarvis is now right on the tail of Nathan Saunders. They head through Coffee's corner for the final time then. Tom Bell's lead isn't that large, but it should be large enough to hold on to the victory and to take the 2013 Stockcat Championship. Who's going to get second though? Saunders is just in front of Paul Jarvis. They head down to, and it's really late on the brakes. Is he going to challenge Tom Bell into the chicane? No, not quite close enough for that. He gets round the corner all right. So Tom Bell, he's crossed the line to become the 2013 Stockcat Champion. Second is Nathan Saunders, the first podium in Stockcat racing. Paul Jarvis finishes in third position.